Oxfam put out a report earlier this year stating blah, 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 that the 1% grabbed 82% of all the wealth created in 2017. So that means more than 8 out of every $10 of wealth created last year went to the richest 1%. Nah, there's no way. There's no wealth inequities in the world, guys. We're good. They're totally. Basically, what the report shows is that you're rewarded not for hard work. You're rewarded for being wealthy. That's what you're rewarded for. The more wealth you have, the more you're rewarded. The harder you work, the more you're. I just read a story about a guy that had worked a full shift at the Cracker Barrel. Black man walking home. The cops came up to him. What are you doing? He goes, I'm just trying to get home, sir. And they arrested him and tased him and knocked him around. Guy busts his ass all day at a restaurant, probably not making much more than maybe $1 or $2 above minimum wage. Walking home, because there's probably not good public transportation, because public transportation is largely subsidized. We can't have good public transportation when we spend over 60% of our budget on the military. Just there's that right there. Good public transportation does a lot of things. It's better for the environment. It's better for traffic. It's better carbon footprint. And it gives people that can't afford a car, or the elderly, or high school kids, or whatever, people who can't drive legally or physically, to get to school and work and doctor's appointments and shopping and all that other stuff. Good public transportation is good for all cities. And the best cities in the world usually have pretty good public transportation. But the 1%ers don't give a shit about that. This is according to a new report from Oxfam International, which estimates that the bottom 50% of the world's population saw no increase in wealth. Oxfam says the trend shows that the global economy is skewed to favor the rich, rewarding the rich rather than work. The billionaire boom, there's been a boom of billionaires, is not a sign of a thriving economy, but a symptom of a failing economic system, said Winnie Bian, executive director of Oxfam International. The head of the advocacy group argued that the people who make our clothes, assemble our phones, grow our food are being exploited in order to enrich corporations and the super wealthy. The study, released ahead of the World Economic Forum in Davos, was produced using data from Credit Suisse's Global Wealth Data Book. The report also highlights the detrimental effects of gender inequality with data that show more men own land, shares, and other capital assets than women. Rising inequality has been a major topic at Davos for years. Oxfam said Monday that it's time for the global elite to stop talking about inequality and start changing their ways. They could just do this. I've talked about this so many times in so many ways. The top 62 richest people could give up half of all of their wealth, and it would increase the lives of over 3 billion people, the bottom half of the world. And the top 62 people have like trillions of dollars in combined. They could give up half of it. Imagine if you're worth $2 billion and you gave up $1 billion of it. You're still a billionaire. I mean, boo, like, fuck you, man. I'm worth $500 million, but now I'm only worth $250 million because I gave it up to help the poor. Like, how do you look yourself in the mirror, man? It's hard to find a political or business leader who doesn't say that they're worried about inequality. It's even harder to find one who is doing something about it. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We need to do something. Fight for Main Street, blah, blah, blah. Isn't that the Democratic Party's big bullshit? Many are actively making things worse by slashing taxes and scrapping labor rights. That's what the Republicans keep pushing. Slash taxes. Oh, the rich get a tax break. And then these Trump supporters and diehard Republicans are like, yeah, they're fighting for me. No, they're not. None of the Republicans or Democrats are fighting for you. None of them are. None of them are. Like maybe a handful, one or two. Like I'm telling you, like less than 5% of elected officials are actually fighting for you at the federal level. Less than 5%. Oxfam said government should focus on policies that would lead to fair distribution of wealth and stronger workers' rights. These include introducing a living wage, supporting labor unions, and tracking gender discrimination. Governments also need to tackle tax avoidance and put limits on shareholder returns and executive pay. Oxfam said the group argues companies should not issue dividends to shareholders unless they pay their workers a living wage. The thing that the 1%ers don't get, this is going to blow up on them too. And what's best for the economy, if people are making good wages, they're going to spend money. If all you're doing is just working to survive, you're not going out to eat, you're not buying anything, you're not taking a vacation, you're not getting a new car or anything. You're just barely getting by. That's all you're doing is barely getting by. It's why we need a Labor Party, man. We need a Labor Party. It's why in these midterm elections, it's March now, their elections are, the primaries, the midterm primaries are starting this month. Pay attention, register to vote, vote out the incumbents, vote in progressives. It's that simple. If there's no progressive running, write in a progressive, write in yourself. Just show them, fuck you, you know? Work on a progressives campaign, whatever you got to do. Because this is just the billionaire classes. There was never a billionaire class 30, 40 years ago. Now there's just more billionaires than ever, and yet there's more poverty than ever. That's messed up. We need real labor parties. We need labor unions. We need real wage equality. Because wage equality benefits all of society. With inequity, we have higher crime rates. Like, what's it going to take? A billionaire gets murdered by a poor person because they can't feed their family and they have to commit crime. Like, what's it going to take? We could have it all in this country, you guys. Green jobs. We could have it all. We could have it all. We could have high-speed rail from coast to coast. We could have it all. We could have free college tuition. We could have really great wages and labor unions and health benefits. You wouldn't have to go to start a GoFundMe account to get an operation. You could actually it would just be paid for. It's doable, guys. The 1%ers just refuse to let it happen. They could make it happen overnight. They could all wake up tomorrow and say, we're changing it. And boom. Within 6 months to a year, the whole world would be a completely better place. And within 5 years, it would be a goddamn utopia. But they don't want it. So vote them out. Get them out of there. Vote with your dollars. Get these assholes out of here. Fuck them. But thank you for watching.